What's up, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Mason Plummer here from blueandgold.com, bringing you the weekly recruiting wrap. Please go ahead and leave a thumbs up on this video and subscribe to our channel for more Notre Dame athletics content if you are already not subscribed. Go to blueandgold.com, use that promo code Irish60. If you like these videos, like we bring you some, the weekly recruiting wrap, we bring you other podcasts and live shows and all that stuff. If you like that, just here and there on our YouTube page, just imagine getting all that premium recruiting scoop every single day at blueandgold.com. Go to the website, use promo code Irish60. That'll get you 2 months free of coverage. All right, let's get into the weekly recruiting wrap. About 3 hours or something after we posted last week's wrap, Notre Dame offered Ty Simpson. That was the Irish's first quarterback offer in 5 months in the 2022 class. So August 17th, 2020, Notre Dame offered Steve Angeli from New Jersey and Gavin Wimsatt from Kentucky. And then they offered Ty Simpson this past Friday, ranked as the number 36 overall player in the country, number 3 pro-style quarterback, number 2 overall player in Tennessee. You see the offers there, 32. I need to update that. It's closer to 40 now. What's your thoughts on Notre Dame expanding its quarterback board a little bit, Mason?
Well, as you hit on, you talked to Simpson this week. Notre Dame's been recruiting him for a while now, and this is an offer that probably should have been a little bit earlier. Notre Dame really likes Angeli and Wimsatt, but Simpson's a guy they really like too. It seems like Reese is kind of pushing for Simpson. Notre Dame's going to land one of the three, it seems like, and it seems like to me they can't really go wrong. I like all three of them about the same level. I think they all offer Notre Dame different things. I think it just kind of depends on what kind of route Reese wants to go. I think there's genuine interest from all three. I'm curious to see where he puts priority, or if he does at all, who will pull the trigger first. Usually you see the quarterback as one of the first commitments of the class, but we're already into a couple of commitments in the 2022 class. So this is going to be really something interesting to watch, and something we'll be posting a lot about, as you mentioned, the Irish 60, that I don't know if there's a better 2 months for fans to be tuned into our coverage than now. We're going to be all over this quarterback recruitment, and it's really going to be one of the really focal points of this class. Mike, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's the focal point of the offseason for me and everything. I mean, quarterback recruiting for Notre Dame the past few years has really trended to such early commitments. I've said this a ton, so I apologize to people who always listen to this, our coverage. When I started this job, May 1st, 2019, Notre Dame already had Drew Pine and Tyler Buckner committed. So I didn't get to cover quarterback recruitment until, they offered Angeli and Wimsatt. And then, so that's, a little over a year. And I'm just kind of waiting to cover quarterback recruitment. And then they offer Angeli and Wimsatt. But there was conversations between Reese and those two guys, but not like a ton. But now we're starting to see it pick up a little bit. So you said, Mason, you feel like Notre Dame will land one of these three. I'm not sure that they're done offering quarterbacks. I think that, they offered those two guys. Those were the ones that, Reese felt confident enough to offer then. Why Simpson wasn't offered then? Look, there's a ton of questions people are asking me. What's the pecking order? What if all three want to commit at the same time? Who do they take? Guys, you're going to have ask Tommy Reese some of these questions because, quarterback recruiting is just a different animal than some of these other things. Well, we're going to take 3 quarterbacks. We're going to take 2 quarterbacks in this class. Goodness, guys, I would be surprised if they take 2 in this class, but, recruiting surprises you. We didn't think that, they're going to take 2 in the 2021 class either on scholarship, but here we are. I love the offer. I'll add that. All 3 of these guys have some similar traits in that they're all mobile and they are very good from the pocket as well. In terms of the recruitment specifically, Alabama, Clemson, Tennessee is still in this one. UT Martin, his dad's the head coach there. They're involved in the recruitment. The FCS school in Northwest Tennessee. I think you got to throw in Texas with Steve Sarkisian, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. Some of these schools are still in there. Notre Dame's very much in the mix now. talking to sources close to Simpson on Notre Dame side of things. Conversations have been good. Does it hurt Notre Dame that they offered late? Probably a little bit, and it has to, if Notre Dame offered 2 years ago, that would have been 2 years of relationship building. So Notre Dame kind of is making up for lost time, but we will just kind of have to see. And again, like Mason said, make sure you lock into blueandgold.com for more coverage there.
Mike, potential news, a linebacker out of California, the number one in the nation, a recent USC decommitment. He decommitted from the Trojans 2 days after receiving his Notre Dame offer. Is that significant? Where do you see him landing? What's the kind of news here? As I said, number one linebacker in the nation, top 100 player in the country, a 4-star here, and Notre Dame could badly use him. Are they going to get him?
I don't know if they're gonna get him. I mean, if I could tell the future, I'd be making a lot more money than I am right now. But yeah, number one inside linebacker in the country, 6'5" player overall. I mean, pretty badass player in my opinion. Yeah, so Notre Dame offered on a Thursday. He decommits on a Saturday. I'm told that Notre Dame offering wasn't the only reason he decommitted, but it played a factor. Really has been impressed with Notre Dame in talking to Marcus Freeman this week. Conversation with Brian Polian, who recruited Manti Te'o, who is Nuafe's favorite player. It's a Polynesian inside linebacker who was a Heisman finalist. So Nuafe really looks up to him. So there's some things going in Notre Dame's favor here. But Stanford is very much in the mix here. USC is still in the mix. Nuafe feels like he rushed his decision a little bit, making that pledge February 4th, 2020. So Florida's in there, Oregon, new schools will offer, I'm sure, as well. So he's saying really good things to the Notre Dame staff, and he talks to Jack Nickel, Notre Dame's 2022 tight end commit. They played at an all-star game in middle school or something like that together, so they go way back. So yeah, Notre Dame is very much in the mix, but I have a hard time seeing him committing without a visit. And we'll touch on potential visits just here in a minute. Moving to Rocco Spindler. How about this, Mason, winning the Anvil Award for 2020, which goes to the state of Michigan's top lineman or linebacker. I remember Rocco texting me and being like, "Hey, Mike, can you retweet this? Vote. To have people vote for me for the Anvil Award." He was. This is such a huge honor for those that are not familiar with it. So, Rocco Spindler's Clarkston team had a 3-win season in 2019 and then go undefeated in the regular season. I think they were bouncing the first or second round of the playoffs just this for Rocco's senior season in 2020. And Michigan just wrapped up their state playoffs too in January. But Mason, just how good was Rocco Spindler's senior season?
It is tremendous, and there's not a lot more you can say than winning the Anvil Award. It goes to the best offensive lineman or lineman and linebacker, and for him to be awarded that is just huge. There's a lot of talent in the state of Michigan, and Rocco Spindler is one of the best of them, and it's clearly shown here. That's a cool looking award too. That's a great picture. I'm sure Rocco's going to have that for a long time. There's no denying he's one of the best players in the country, much less in the state of Michigan. Notre Dame got a good one here, and it's just showing again that how great of a pickup this really was. Rocco Spindler, as is shown here, is just one of the better players in not only his state but the country, and it's just a great pickup. Speaking of the state of Michigan, Mike, you mentioned that Michigan just wrapped up its state championships, and Nolan Ziegler was a big part of it, scoring 2 touchdowns in Catholic Central's win in the 5A championships. Notre Dame's recruiting him as a linebacker. He's committed to Notre Dame already. He's a stud, and he was getting it done on both sides of the ball. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Catholic Central had a 48-21 victory. He had touchdown receptions of 35 and 12 yards. Yeah, he had a great season, man. He looks like a safety and then hits like a linebacker, then catches like a receiver. I'm a big Nolan Ziegler fan. He's just someone that you want in your locker room. He's bleeds blue and gold. I can't say enough good things about him. He's a great player. Still, is developing too. So he's got a pretty sizable ceiling, but smart kid, comes from a great family. Um, he's got a cool demeanor too. Like he's like a cool, chill kid. Like seems like he's that kind of. He's got like a California cool personality to him as well. I know you've been able to speak to him as well. He's just got a chill vibe to
He's
him.
a baller too. At the same time, he's chill, but he knows he's a baller and he knows that he belongs at the next level. He knows he's going to be a stud linebacker at Notre Dame. But there's a chillness, but there's also a confidence that he knows that he's ready to play at the next level.
So I'm sure Nolan Ziegler would love to get on Notre Dame's campus and get to hang out with the coaching staff because he committed to Notre Dame last August, just a couple of weeks after he got his scholarship offer. But it might happen to where he can get on campus and a bunch of other recruits. So here's what Pete Thamel reported on Wednesday, January 27th. He said we should see an update soon on the end of the NCAA's recruiting dead period, which is slated through April 15th. So basically what the dead period means is that coaches can't go on the road and to see recruits, and recruits can't go to the colleges to have a recruiting visit, an official visit, an unofficial visit, nothing. The only thing that recruits can do is walk around campus just like any civilian could. So continuing on Thamel's tweet, a note sent to the administrators obtained by Yahoo Sports indicates a recommendation for a quiet period, depending on medical guidance in all sports from April 16th to June 30th. And Thamel clarifies that a quiet period means there can be on-campus visits. Skip down to that third tweet. Here's the feeling that the NCAA is giving. A consistent gradual approach to ending the temporary recruiting dead period would be ideal, and that such an approach would be driven by medical guidance. The quiet period depends on that guidance. So I had been hearing that there was more optimism that the dead period would be lifted. This is the first bit of like hard evidence. Pete Thamel is the one that broke, or he's the guy that broke the Marcus Freeman to Notre Dame news. It was about a minute before Notre Dame reported it. So Thamel is a very trusted reporter and a friend of our YouTube channel as well. We had him on when Notre Dame announced Freeman. But anyways, reaction here, Mason. I mean, if visits open up, can you imagine what it's going to... I mean, it's going to happen eventually. Visits are going to open up. But, I mean, it's going to be wild.
I really hope it does open up because a lot of the guys in the 2021 class, especially the guys that kind of waited to make their decisions, they kind of had to make blind decisions, which is just terrible. And it's too bad. But I mean, it's kind of the situation we're dealt at this point. So you're really hoping that these 2022 guys, that they are given a fair shake and are able to visit college campuses and make an educated decision, just like all the classes before them, except for 2021, which is super unfortunate. But you want all these guys to be able to make the right decision for them. And I think seeing campus is a big part of that. Not to mention seeing campus and being on campus and seeing the facilities is a huge card that Notre Dame likes to use on big time recruits. So we're going to be able to see Notre Dame use potentially its best tool here in the future. If that does come true just in the coming months, Pete Thamel mentioned there. So I really hope it does happen. It'll make us very busy, but I think it's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. It will be wild, though. Everyone is going to be visiting. Think about this, Mason. The last time these recruits were able to take visits was, March of 2020. The last time Notre Dame... the last recruit Notre Dame had on campus was, I believe it was Brock Bowers, like March 5th. It's just been way too long since recruiting visits have been able to happen. I really hope it opens up and these visits can happen safely. But man, I do feel like there's going to be, every recruit is going to want to visit a bunch of schools. Notre Dame would have a bunch of visitors. So, I mean, like having a junior day kind of thing, can Notre Dame have like 50 kids on campus? I mean, could you imagine if there was like I don't want to get into a whole COVID discussion, but like, what if things? So I think that's kind of the medical guidance, but we're not going to get into all that stuff. But man, yeah, recruiting opening up will it will be quite the experience for us as reporters, of course. But yeah, for those coaches and Just recruiting just is so busy right now, but it will even get busier if visits open up. Well, that's going to do it for this weekly recruiting wrap. There was a lot that happened this past week with Marcus Freeman on the phone with so many defensive targets, even an offensive target. We'll get into that on Monday in our Gold Standard article at blueandgold.com. Use that promo code Irish60. Again, if you like these videos and you like following Notre Dame football recruiting, you'll love blueandgold.com because we cover it every single day with multiple articles. Appreciate you guys watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave your comments with your thoughts on the video.